In the northern Midwest, in a quiet corner of the U.S., lies the small town of Crandon. Most of the year, it drifts through the season docile and serene, certainly by big city standards, but a pace just right for its neighborly citizens. But once a year, Labor Day weekend, this Wisconsin hamlet plays host to a grand celebration of a most particular event, one that is quite unique in the world of off-road motorsports. Get ready for the AMSOIL Cup Challenge from Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. And it all kicks off with a huge party right here in downtown Crandon.
You cruise into town, the population sign I think says like 1964 on it. You think it's the time it's stuck in, but it's actually the amount of people that live here, and then it swells to 70,000 for one weekend a year.
Small town grows, on a large scale. We got 60,000+ people here. The sun's out. It's a beautiful place to be.
I live right there, and even if I move somewhere else, Crandon would always be my home. I know everybody here, and they make you feel so welcome, even if you're out of towners.
This is a town of 5 people. Where are all these people coming from? It's like the next town's 30 minutes away. I'm a little over-exaggerating, but it's just so cool.
It just seems to grow every year, and it's going to get bigger.
Small town you literally would drive through in 2 seconds and not bat an eye. And then one day out of the year, there's $40 million worth of race cars sitting there.
There's cars on the curbs, in the grass, on the side street.
Trucks and UTVs and buggies and everything. It's awesome for the fans. They get to come out, they can come right up to your truck, they can look inside of it, they can sit in it.
People climbing all over it, standing on top of it, taking pictures, and you kind of go, oh geez, okay, well, I guess this is the way it's gonna be. But it's fun, and that's what it's all about.
I drive on these streets every day. I grew up here. The town has been really supportive. We don't even have school on Friday here because of this race.
You close down a school, all those kids come down and see the look in their face that that's what they want to do when they grow up.
I've been coming with my family since I was a little girl, and then after I had kids, we've been coming probably the last 5 years with the kids, and they love it.
This is their biggest day of the year. This is Crandon's Christmas.
There's kids named Crandon, there's kids named Kurt, there's kids named Kyle and Greaves and all that. Like there's just that camaraderie that is unmatched anywhere else.
For the fans to be able to come down and feel and touch and smell the truck, it's a cool experience because I was in that same situation. I love that.
How many sports can you do that? The trucks are right there, the drivers are walking around. They got the pit challenge going on, and then they're pushing a car over here, and it's a good time.
Bratwurst, where do you get that, huh?
Food, anything you ask for, they can pretty much provide it here in the small town of Crandon. It's like glory for a fan.
I've been doing it for gotta be 20 years. We've been going down there. It's almost like another planet that we're on. How much the people get behind it.
It's so cool to see the whole town get behind this race. I mean, every year we come down here and this parade gets bigger and bigger. There's more race cars, there's more people. I mean, this is the big daddy of off-road racing, and here we are, just flooded with people and having a good time.
And it gives us a moment to take tribute to the community of Crandon, because the community of Crandon, this is a small little town, but they've taken this thing in a matter of 47 years and built it into an empire.
Super cool. So that was just an experience, and the parade or nothing hasn't even started yet.
The noon whistle goes off, very old school, big old whistle, blows the whole town up. See some of the goofiest floats and, wooden cars and stuff you're never gonna see except for this kind of hometown, old school environment that lives for this day.
How we doing, boys?
Chills, watching the parade come downtown and so much hometown support on these floats.
They're lining the streets all the way down Highway 8 to wave at you, to get a glimpse, to hear these trucks.
They shut Highway 8 down. I mean, Highway 8's a major road system in Wisconsin. You tell me another county or state that lets you shut a highway down for an off-road parade.
Real people come out in their front yards. It's a big deal to them.
It's the camping, it's the people, it's the concerts, and it's the fans. Crandon is a happening.
Crandon is Crandon, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Crandon is known as the Daytona, or the Indianapolis Motor Speedway of off-road. The track is unrivaled, the legacy unequaled. These drivers have an incredible respect for the history of this place, but also its signature characteristics like Turn 1.
Crandon community is known for Crandon International Off-Road Raceway.
This city was built around this day, you know, this race, Labor Day weekend.
I was a kid just pinned up against the fence watching races here at Crandon probably 25 years ago. Just hoping and dreaming, wanting to race here someday.
Got a nose on them, on your outside, all clear all around.
It's been a dream of mine to come out here for a while. I've been begging and pleading to come out here to TORC and to run this Crandon race, because it's just got the mecca of, you know, all of off-road history for us short course guys.
The build-up for me to come to Crandon in a race car was insane. This place is on my mind. It's always in my history. It's always in my heart to come here and give it all I got.
You're going so fast here. Everywhere else you go, you know, you're running those things hard and you think you're going fast. And then you get on Crandon and you really are going fast.
It's just so different from the tracks we run. This is flat and it's fast, but it's still technical. You've got late apexes, double apexes. It's deceiving on the mind.
The track just seems huge. Your first lap out there, you're like, man, does this thing ever end?
I am finally here. I want to just kind of get out and just kiss the ground. I met some of the local people here that work here, and they gave me a huge tour of the place. Like, well, this is the Land Rush start over here. I'm like, this is what I got to go down.
The Land Rush start here at Crandon, it's unique and different than all others. And if you want to talk about something playing mind games with you, I mean, that can be something definitely that can do it.
I compare lining up for this start like you're jumping out of an airplane. You know, I love skydiving. I hate the slide to the door, and that is exactly what it is, lining up that gear.
I used to get a really big adrenaline rush for basketball and sports like that until I came to Crandon and did the Land Rush start. Now nothing else compares.
You're sitting there waiting to go and you see Faye come by telling you guys to get it started. And at that point, you're like, all right, this is real now. We're about to do it. You're looking at all your oil pressure, your temps, everything, making sure your fans are on. You're doing it in a matter of seconds. You're fidgeting like a lot of people fidget with their glove, or their shield, and you don't even realize you're doing it. Then Cowboy comes across, and at that point, it all goes away. You swear you don't even hear the trucks, nothing. And then when the green flag flies, all the noise comes at once.
The Land Rush start is just a one-of-a-kind thing. I don't think we do this anywhere else but Crandon now. It's so unique. There's an art to it.
My mentality off the start is always to get that whole shot. You know, this is the crucial part. You could be first through 8 and still get a whole shot here.
You got your peripheral vision right and left. You're coming off the first jump. You're coming off the second jump. You know if you got the whole shot or not.
Just going down there and hitting those two doubles and hoping nobody doesn't get crossed up so we don't bounce off each other's doors, going 100 miles an hour into turn 1 all squirrely. There's so many things that can happen.
You can't explain what it's like to be sitting on that starting line. You just feel like a bunch of gladiators and you're all coming at turn 1 and you're this wide, there's this much room for you all to fit, and it's like, all right, who's gonna lift first?
I don't know how this is going to happen because I've never seen it. I've never done it. I don't know how we're all going to fit.
Really, it's just whoever's got the biggest kind of look over at each other and, you know what, offer him, I ain't letting off.
When they lift, I'm gonna hold it on a car length longer and see if I can make that turn.
You gotta just be brave for a split second longer more than the guy next to you. And sometimes they can bite you, sometimes it pays off.
You want me to do this? And I keep telling everyone's like, yeah, you've got to do it. I'm like, you do this.
The roost comes into play, so visibility. If you can't see, then you can't do anything, you can't drive blind.
It's like sitting behind a dump truck and just laying there and letting it dump on top of me.
Someone starts, blowing dirt in your face and you got to go for a tear off and check up for a second like, all right, where's everybody at? You just lost 3 trucks on everybody.
All you can do is hope you can see for halfway through the turn because the only guy that can see through the whole turn is the guy who got out front.
I just try to pick my line, pick the best decision I think is right at the time, and make it through turn 1.
Everybody is racing as hard as they can in turn 1 because they all want to be the first guy through there. It means that much.
I'm probably going to get through turn 1 and be like, this happened. Like, I'm probably going to have to stop the race, start, get out, and kiss the ground. I don't know how it's going to work. I really don't.
AMSOIL is highly respected in the world of motorsports, and their investment in development pays off big time with podium finishes. Well, recently we had a chance to take a look at their research laboratory.
AMSOIL, the first in synthetic. When you want to talk about oils, you got 2 basic kinds. You got your conventional petroleum-based oils, which are refined, and then you have your synthetic oils, which are built from scratch. Conventional oil will attract oxidation, where synthetic oil is built to resist oxidation. That's why it gives you a longer life and a much better wear. AMSOIL has a process called the simultaneous meter blending process. That's where they'll mix everything at the exact same time to fit your needs when it comes to a synthetic oil. In the industry, there's a test called the 3G test. That's where they'll take a motor, fill it full of oil, run it at 300 degrees for 100 hours straight. That's the equivalent of 50,000 miles on your street car. AMSOIL is pleased to be the first company to ever complete a double 3G test. So if you're Scott Douglas or Brad Lovell running at 8,000 RPM at 300 degrees, or you're that person that gets in their car, starts it up, and never warms it up to take their kids to school, AMSOIL has a synthetic blend for you.
The AMSOIL Cup is an off-road tradition like no other. 2 classes on the racetrack at the same time. The Pro 2-wheel drive trucks get a slight head start off the Land Rush, and they have to run for their lives before the Pro 4-wheel drive monsters catch them from behind. And the prize they are all chasing? It's the biggest purse in off-road racing. No competition caution, no holds barred, and no looking back. The AMSOIL Cup is the race everyone wants to win.
The AMSOIL Cup is unique in itself because of the fact that it's the one biggest off-road race of the year.
It's the Super Bowl of a sport. It's a Stanley Cup. It's whatever you can imagine in any sport. It's the epitome of the trophy that you want to have.
The AMSOIL Cup brings out the best and the worst in everybody.
Every time you go out here, you're going for blood, you're going for victory. So to do it in a race like the AMSOIL Cup is the icing on the cake.
You win that thing, you're not on a high for a day, you're on a high for months.
And it's something that you want so bad because it literally is the cup, the trophy, the race to win. Nothing else can almost matter. And I've heard people say that that cup means more than some championships they won.
You can win a championship, you can win a race, and it's remembered, it's lived for a while, but when you win one of these cup races, people remember that, you remember it, and it's big.
It's the greatest feeling ever. When you can win an off-road race like that, you've pretty much done everything you need to do.
You feel like you're Superman, you are the fastest off-road racer in the world at that moment, right then.
Although the engines are the same, the distinctions between a Pro 2 and a Pro 4 makes for a dramatic difference in strategy on the track. And in the AMSOIL Cup race, strategy can be everything.
The major difference between the Pro 2 and Pro 4-wheel drive is obviously the 4-wheel drive and the 2-wheel drive in the Pro 2. Both are distinctly different, but animals in their own way. The Pro 2 is the same horsepower as a Pro 4, 900 plus horse.
At Pro 2, almost everyone runs a Turbo 400, which is an automatic 3-speed. You got a torque converter in there, and you can change the stall so when it like really locks up, that way it can slip out of the corner. You get in a Pro 4 and it's a completely different setup. You got a stick shift with a clutch, 6 gears, you're banging gears as quick as you can pull them out of the corner. Set up stiffer because you're going so much faster. You can air out any of them jumps as far as you want and basically land at the bottoms. The best way almost to describe a Pro 2 is like a ballerina dance. Everything has to be precise. You're floating it in the corner just right. Trying to stay on the edge of the cushion, pedaling it, trying to make as much traction as you can, just really trying to be gentle with the truck.
You're a little more ginger on that throttle, and it's more of a ballet coming out, and you've got to do a nice wide slide. If you just tromp the throttle like you can a Pro 4, you'll spin it out in a heartbeat.
In a Pro 2, it's kind of a ballet. You let the truck float into the turns, and instead of stabbing the gas, you roll on the gas. To be a really good Pro 2 driver with the amount of power those things have, you've got to have finesse with that gas pedal.
You just really finesse on the throttle. You're setting the truck up a little bit softer than what a Pro 4 does, and it's just a lot more gentle. I feel like it takes a lot of talent to drive.
And then you got a Pro 4, which is like complete opposite. You want to punish that truck every time you're out there on the track.
Pro 4 is really aggressive on the entry and really aggressive on the exit. What I mean by that is you get every last bit of speed out of that thing. You brake hard, you slide, and as you're starting to slide, you pick up that throttle hard.
You got 4 tires scratching and you attack everything. When you come in them turns, we're just throwing them in there. We punish them trucks.
Pro 4-wheel drive is just, I feel like you just gotta have big balls, man. It's just like, commit, it's just a lot of commitment. It's just an animal, you know, and you're just trying to tame that animal.
It's definitely 2 different learning curves, and you either have it where you can run both or you don't.
Winning the AMSOIL Cup here at Crandon is a bucket list goal for many of these drivers. This place is like the holy grail for the hardcore off-road community. Plus, the West Coasters sweep on in here to try to steal the bragging rights.
The whole mentality of the AMSOIL Cup is just, I think, mostly bragging rights.
Heading to the AMSOIL Drivers' Cup meeting.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, the purse is awesome, which brings out the West Coast guys. Normally we don't get to race against them, so when these guys get to come and race, you want to show them what you can do.
Today is probably the single largest day in short course off-road racing.
I think there's definitely a rivalry of us coming in and taking the money and running. That's natural and that's expected, and I love that.
You know, we've always had this rivalry with East and West, and it'll be that way, I think, until, I think ever, really, at this point.
It's an epic momentum that we bring in that really culminates here, and it really boils down to that one race.
We're coming and stealing the trophy, and I'm pretty sure they don't want us to come and steal their cup because they want to keep it on the East Coast.
I feel like to keep the trophy back east is more important than anything.
West Coast is better. We're taking it back over to the beaches and the sun, and we're going to parade it over here for another year till we come back and start kicking your butt some more.
If it isn't me, it better be another East Coast boy, because we can't have those guys talking about us every time and saying they came here and had bragging rights. They have more pressure than what we do. Hey, you guys are coming to our home track. You got to step up your game now.
I'm coming into the big house, their backyard. This is our backyard. You West Coasters ain't got anything on us or anything. Like, we're gonna be way faster.
I got a steep learning curve. If you want to go win one of these races against the guys, this is their home track, you got to be spot on.
I think we all dig a little deeper for this weekend. I'm sure they're the same way coming here.
It's an environment that we thrive on. You know, we love that friendly chaos. We've got to be nice to each other, but at the same time, I don't care.
I think it's great. It's great for the sport. It's great for the fans.
It's fun because the fans are tied into it deep too. You know, they love it. They come here to watch racing and live it. I've got a taste. I know what it's like to go home and drive home with a big check, and I know what it's like to go home with a junk race car. So I prefer to go home with a big check, so I give it everything I have.
Anytime you can get, you know, the best of the West and the best of the East together and hopefully form the greatest off-road race ever, that's a great thing.
It's the one you want to come win. Short course off-road, this is the biggest race of the year.
I'm sure the West Coast guys, they want to go home pounding their chest, and we want to go home Sunday pounding our chest. I'll leave it at that.
We're just moments away from the start of the AMSOIL Cup. All pit prep is complete. Now it's just a driver in his truck mapping out his strategy and trying to control his nerves while waiting for the wave of the green flag, that land rush start, and turn one.
You're going from a dead stop, dead cold, not knowing how the brakes are going to work, not knowing the throttle response of that moment, to wide open at 100 miles an hour into turn one with a whole bunch of other fast guys.
You know, when you put the Pro 2s and the Pro 4s together, you know, every Pro 2 driver is thinking, I've got to run like a scared puppy dog. You know, I've got these big, hungry Pro 4s that will just eat you alive at any second, and you just got to run with it.
I've been in both situations, Pro 4s, Pro 2s, and when you're in the Pro 2, you're running like a rabbit.
You're just running like a scared dog. I mean, it don't matter how the track is, you know them guys are coming.
All your spotter is doing is just telling you where he's at. He's getting closer. You got to keep up your pace.
If you let a good Pro 2 like Keegan or CJ get out in front in clean air, and a Pro 4's got to come through, not only battling with your own guys for the lead, but now you have to battle through the Pro 2s just to catch those guys that are running out clean air. It's tough.
Never gotten a race against Johnny. Johnny's a legend in the sport itself, so it'd be cool to have him hunting me down in the Pro 4 and everything.
The Pro 4-wheel drive, they get released, you know, like the dogs out of a cage.
It's one of those things we know we got to go through clean. We know we've got to make passes and stay clean because those Pro 2s are gone.
Stupid for us Pro 4s to sit there and just constantly battle with each other and slow each other down, because the Pro 2s are just getting away.
And we don't have much time for chaos. And the Pro 2s know that, so they hope for chaos. They hope there's huge wrecks or huge spin-outs and grinding and rubbing on each other so that they can get away.
It's almost like the last 2-3 laps of the race is when you're going to see the gloves come off, as far as Pro 4s really hammering on each other, going after the Pro 2s.
You just got to be smart, play the game. You can't predict anything because nothing works.
I think that's what the fans come to see and enjoy, is these West Coast guys meeting the East Coast guys. Pro 4, Pro 2, who's it going to be?
Welcome back to the AMSOIL Cup Challenge. Now, as racing goes, you just never know how your day's going to turn out. Well, for Johnny, Chad, and Luke Johnson, their day did not go as expected, and we got a chance to catch up with them a few minutes ago.
In the Pro 4 race, land rush start, we come into turn one, some trucks started getting sideways, dicing up. We made it through the initial part of the carnage. I thought I was out of it, just started leaving, and a truck got sideways in front of me. I went to check up and got hit from behind, ended up hitting the truck. I knew something power steering wise was hurt because it let out a puff of smoke. I had no power steering, pulled off the track. We sat down, you know, the crew, it was a collective decision, and for one, it's a lot of work. We don't know if we could pull it off, but they didn't feel regardless that they could do it safely for me to go out and compete. So the Horde Racing team's gonna be done for today, but we're gonna watch the race and learn notes for next year.
Yeah, so today in the Pro 4 race, I was chasing Scott Douglas. We were having a little battle there, and I decided I was going to try to take it up by the barn in the fluff a little bit and see if I could square it off and get a run down, and touch that fluff a little too hard. It shot the front end into the wall. It turned and then just barrel rolled across the wall. You know, it's a bummer. It did quite a bit of damage to the truck. Ripped some AR mounts out, ripped some track bar mounts out. I think I may have cracked some ribs. You know, as the hours go on, it's getting really tender. So I was really looking forward to, you know, battling with CJ and Kyle and all the rest of the guys. And you know, the opportunities every year, they seem to haunt me. But we'll get one put together yet. It's just, it happens.
Bad day for Luke Johnson as well. In the Pro 2 race earlier in the day, Ari Leyendijk Jr. slammed into the back of Luke's truck as they sailed over the launch, and Luke crashed straight into the barrier, destroying that brand new Pro 2 and keeping him out of the AMSOIL Cup. For everyone else, though, this is what we've all been waiting for. Robbie Floyd and Ricky Johnson have the call.
There have been 6 AMSOIL Cups. This will be the 7th, but when you look at the field, two-wheel drives have won it 2 times, and every one of these drivers is wearing a fire suit today, except the man to my left, Ricky Johnson, who is on fire because you're not out there on the track.
I can't wait for this race because they've done a lot of preparation on this track. So the Pro 2s, if Keegan gets out in front, he has a definite shot at winning this race.
He could check out because there is no competition caution. The hair's starting to raise on my arm, and I know it has to be for these drivers, a front row, a back row. The Pro 2 started off, you got about 14, 15 seconds, and then the Pro 4s will take off, and it is down to Sheldon Creed on that inside to get the start of his life.
Well, Sheldon Creed is sitting in a very fast truck that has won in the TORC Series before, so Sheldon Creed has the catbird seat. If he gets the whole shot, he does have a shot at this.
And will Keegan Kincaid be strong as well? He's another guy to look for in any Pro 2 wheel drive race anywhere around the country or the Stadium Super Trucks. Keegan Kincaid is a winner, and especially here at Crandon.
And what Keegan does better than anybody, just like his father Jeff Kincaid, he runs the outside when it comes to turn 1. He will run it very strong. But on the pole position in the second row is CJ Grieve. So if CJ gets a clean start ahead of everybody, he's going to have to cut through all those Pro 2s.
Look out now. We'll also have to see how the Pro 4-wheel drive does. That's to his left as they go into that right-hand turn. It'll be to the outside. Kyle LeDuc in the 99. How will that truck run? How is it set up for this final race of the day? He'd been fastest in practice. He was fast in the Pro 4, but now it's down to the big race, the AMSOIL Cup. Can he do it again like he did just 2 years ago?
So here we see it, CJ Greaves. This kid has been on fire this whole week. He's won 3 world championships, a UTV, a Pro 2, and a Pro 4. So he really wants to cap this off because they have bragging rights within the team. They're both monster drivers. That driver right there, Kyle LeDuc, is the West Coast guy who's been the king, who has destroyed the competition. And I was one of those guys that he beat up so bad on, and he wants to walk away with this. So everybody wants this to be their house.
And Cowboys running it, and CJ Greaves also did something in the TORC Series, winning the 2s and the 4s on the same day. He did that 8 times in 2016. It hadn't been done before CJ did it. Make it 9, counting the World Championship day today. Can he win 4 races in 1 race day? Cowboy says fire him up. Face Desney's in the box. Again, they go from red to yellow to green, and that front row will take off those of the Pro 2-wheel drives with the Pro 4s waiting patiently behind. And let's find out what that gap is. The Pro 2s are off, and it looks like Sheldon Creed with a good run on the inside.
But look at Keegan Kincaid on the outside. Sheldon goes to open up turn 1 wisely, but Keegan is right there. So the 2 traction trucks, but Keegan runs that outside. That's going to give him the inside going into the barn turn.
And Mike Jenkins has to be limited. And you know what? Keegan made a great adjustment diving to the inside there, or he would have clipped his teammate, and it would have really gotten ugly.
Yeah, if he would have gotten a hold of that pole, that would have messed him up. But right now, Keegan is out in front. And the Pro 4s, and it's been a long, it was
about
almost
27?
Yeah, 27 seconds. And here we see Doug Fortin on the inside gets the whole shot. So the California kid gets a good run with Kyle LeDuc on the outside. And there's Jeff Kincaid right in the mix.
And Jeff hasn't been with us at all, and now he comes back. This is the backyard of Jeff Kincaid. He's won before, and he's trying to do it again. What a one-off race for him. He's currently banging with Kyle LeDuc, not one to let him by.
Well, it was funny because I was talking to Jeff earlier, and he was saying, I'm just driving it too smooth. I'm not trying hard enough. And I told him to just yell on his helmet and give it all he's got. And right now, he slingshots the outside and gets back around Kyle LeDuc.
Look at everyone. Fortin's really running strong, but I mean, every one of these guys. And LeDuc goes to square it up and back it in, but somebody's there.
Keegan up front, right behind him is Sheldon Creed. Behind him is Fitch, and then we got Patrick Clark, who looks like he might have just spun out.
Might have over-rotated a little bit on Clark. We'll have to see back there, and yeah, they are spread out quite a bit. And the thing that's different between this race and the others is there is no competition caution. It wouldn't make sense if we packed them back in there tight. So no competition caution. You're seeing Rodney Van Eppert in there, Arie Luyendyk Jr., and then a little bit later, you should start seeing the Pro 4s sneak into the picture. They're just out of that hairpin turn, going down that whole shot straightaway.
Kyle LeDuc was able to get by Jeff Kincaid. Here we see Morris coming on his way up, and here comes CJ Greaves again with a bad start. We've been talking about this. He has a hard time getting with that manual transmission, getting a good start, so he's got his work cut out for him.
Bradley Morris on the inside. Him, Morris right there up against the edge. They're bound to make contact at that pace, but CJ trying to use that cushion, drives around the outside, has those Maxxis tires hooked up much more to the inside than his dad is when he clipped that corner and shot him over the rail.
Watching the inside here, watch CJ will come in, he'll back it in. Notice that all of a sudden he's traveling
the
backwards.
wrong way.
And just one-handed, very smooth. CJ Greaves just going through the gears, grabbing the necks on that sequential shift, going after Jeff Kincaid.
Scott Douglas, always think he's going to be going that other direction, but it has to be crazy. You have to put a lot of trust in that Pro 4-wheel drive that it will finally catch and grab with those front wheels.
Yeah, CJ Greaves, the track is starting to get really fast right now, so you want to try to get as much passing done as you can because the track's kind of even at this point. As it starts to get more and more beat up, the cushion gets a little bit too far. As we see CJ looking at the inside, Jeff Kincaid makes a small mistake. Now CJ makes a run down into the finish turn. The start turn, I apologize.
Look at him driving down that straightaway, and that's a downhill followed by the uphill and then the hairpin as well. Jeff Kincaid is just pinning it. And the first time he'd been in a Pro 4 as far as a race is concerned, been in the Pro 2 and won in that, but a Pro 4 is a different world.
Well, it's a little bit of sea legs. I mean, he's one of the greatest short course off-road racers that will ever live. But when you sit out all year long and then you jump into a vehicle that's not exactly what you're used to, your timing is off just a little bit. That's where you see Jeff just missing his mark by a little bit, but nonetheless flying. And Bradley Morris went off the track, back on, and here we see Kyle LeDuc losing a rear tire. So with that contact with Jeff Kincaid is taking Kyle LeDuc out of the Cup race.
And that actually helped CJ Greaves. Jeff didn't know where to go. LeDuc is out of it, and he was the guy to really look for. He was the one that was pushing up near the front in the Pro 4. So yeah, he's out of this for the foreseeable future.
Well, Robbie, these tires are extremely tough. When you start bumping side to side, you get a small cut in the sidewall. Next thing you know, it goes down and it starts to delaminate. So this is definite heartbreak for Kyle LeDuc. He came all the way from the West Coast to try to win this race and then had to change a motor, so tough break.
Keegan Kincaid's out in front of this race. Is a 10-lap race. The first Pro 4-wheel drive, the 96 of Doug Fortin, a West Coast guy, but there is CJ Greaves now has worked his way up into second. But when can those fours, what's the differential? We've got to see them close and make up that gap, or you might as well say adios to Keegan.
But if his Pro 2 brothers do him a solid and keep blocking those Pro 4s and hold them back, then there's a real good chance that he can do this. He's halfway through this race. Fortin has come in, threw it in on Fish, got around. But look, CJ Greaves is right behind him.
And he's ready to pounce too, and he's going to pick off one of the Pro 2-wheel drives. And Fortin, you see him on the left of your screen in that red truck, number 96. And there's the Maxxis entry, the other Pro 4 that's in second. They've still got to get by one more Pro 2, and throwing it sideways.
And blew the sideways apart. Patrick Clark landed so hard, and I've talked about it all day long. You side-load a tire so hard, it cannot withstand that. But that just shows you how great the geometry these vehicles have is it didn't crash the car, he just blew the tire out.
Patrick Clark was way sideways. The tire can only stand so much, and right now Doug Fortin is under a tremendous amount of pressure from the world champion. There he goes. CJ Greaves dives the inside. We know these are fours. Can he get the grip with those Maxxis tires? Right there, I'm going to say yes. But now Fortin's on the inside. He's still not backing down.
But CJ just knowing this dirt a little bit better. Doug Fortin looking back to the inside. Look for him to try to do a slide job on Oregon corner. Looks to the inside. Can he pull it off?
Yes.
And he does. A little bit of contact. CJ out in the cushion. But this is exactly what Keegan wants. He wants these guys to slow each other down.
And the part we missed is there was a wall on the side of that right-hand side of CJ Greaves. He had to back it down. He could not stay in. Squares it up on the outside. Great onboard shot there. Doug Fortin is not backing down to CJ Greaves one bit.
No, Doug Fortin, it is not going to back down to anybody. This guy is a champion through and through. He was the Class 10 king out in the desert. He's won the Ball 1000 like I said in the past, and he's also a buggy champion. So him and his father and his family build the Fortin transmissions, which that's what he's running in there against the X-Track is CJ. So it's great that they're not just racers, but they're engineers as well.
Listen to that horsepower, about 900. CJ really backing it in, and he's going to be underneath, but there's only so much grip to be had in that particular spot. But you can't follow the same line as the guy in front of you. It looks like the Pro 4s are starting to catch up. Don't go anywhere. Can they catch up to the Pro 2 of Keegan Kincaid? Welcome back to Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. This is it, AMSOIL Cup here in the big house. And there is Keegan Kincaid. The hometown boy literally lives in downtown Crandon, and there's not much of a downtown, but he lives there. He has prime rib at the bar on Wednesday, Thursday night. Everybody, he's more popular in Crandon than Brett Favre is in Green Bay for you American football fan.
Believe it or not, Robbie is telling the truth. And this guy right here, Keegan, as he said, has watched from the stands. He's watched his father win championships. Little push right there. Right now, you love to race and you do everything you can to be out there, but at this point, what you're saying is, I can't wait for the checkered flag.
Now the gap's down to 12 seconds. Still CJ Greaves has to get by Fortin, and Fortin's, he can still win this thing. He's in second. He's holding on. They're side by side, a half a truck, but now CJ, when he has a half a truck, he's on the outside. Oh, I'm seeing the water starting to come out of Fortin. He's starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. He's pushing a little bit of water out, and he's got about 2 more laps to go. So I don't think they got him because they still have to catch and pass Sheldon Creed, who's in second. So Creed is in the second physically on the track, and that's what you see at the bottom of your corner. And now we see a little bit of steam coming out of the top of Doug Fortin, but he is going to keep running it. CJ Greaves running a little bit high. Keegan all the way up in turn 1, just going out of sight.
So he's making that right-hand turn coming down that front straightaway in front of the fans, and you see the water spraying too, and that will mess with your vision. That was a small spray a moment ago. Now we're getting into a heavy spit.
A lot of times people ask me what the temperatures of the engine is. When you're racing at this level, you're just like, I don't know. They're going to have to tell me after the race. But right now, Doug Fortin doing a great job, but does not look like CJ is going to be able to make it up.
There's Sheldon Creed. He's in second overall, the second place in the Pro 2. Keegan out in front. You see him there heading into that right-hander. The last turn, he'll get the white flag the next time around. Make it this time around. 1 more lap to go for Keegan Kincaid. Can he win the AMSOIL Cup? And here's what's happening behind him for it. And now CJ gets into the wall, not near as hard as his dad, but they have caught up to Sheldon Creed.
So watch this. Now we'll see how much of an advantage a Pro 4 has over a Pro 2, but the track is still in pretty good condition. The cushion's not too high, and you can see how Sheldon Creed gets a great run.
Watch this straightaway. There's Keegan Kincaid. This would be monumental for Keegan Kincaid, especially after braking in that Pro 2-wheel drive. Now look at that. Look at that gap. They're closing in. We have about a half a lap to go. Fortin is in second still, or he's getting by Sheldon Creed right now. Look at that drag race down the straight. Fortin is in second. Creed is in third. CJ Greaves is in fourth, but how will they come out of this turn 1? There's Fortin, there's Creed, and there's Greaves still. Less than 1/4 of a lap to go.
5 seconds is the gap right there. We see CJ make a big chop on the inside, given by Sheldon Creed, but Doug Fortin looks like he's going to pull it off, but watch for a huge slide job either in the gravel pit or the finish line. Here we see Keegan Kincaid, and the Pro 4s can see him, but it does not look like they're going to catch him.
He hails from Crandon, Wisconsin. He's got that legendary leap, the right-hander, and the 26-year-old, the hometown product, is going to win the AMSOIL Cup and beat all of the Pro 4-wheel drives. A race to the finish. Unofficially, CJ Greaves in second, Doug Fortin in third. Feel donuts in our future.
Yeah, I see donuts. Maybe there's a little coffee down at the finish line.
Hey, and Mike Jenkins is sitting at home in McKinney, Texas, and the whole Jenkins family, little Mikey Kelly. Your boy just won the AMSOIL Cup. Sheldon Creed had it off to him too. I mean, he remember half a lap left and he's in second place.
Yeah, everybody drove an unbelievable race. It's a shame that Kyle LeDuc got a flat. I'm really bummed I didn't see Johnny Greaves up there. But honestly, this is the way the Cup race is supposed to be. It was a nail biter. If one of those guys would have gotten in front and didn't have to block so much, I guarantee you it might have been a different route. But guess what? Who's the champion? Keegan Kincaid. So congratulations, champ.
Cooper Tires down there celebrating as well. Again, it's a win for a lot of people. And like I said, Mike Jenkins, give him that truck to drive. That's Mike's truck. And once again, Mikey has to watch his driver take the victory. But I promise you, he's just as happy as Keegan is. How about it, Crandon? How about it, the world? We have a new winner in the AMSOIL Cup in Keegan Kincaid. And there's the hardware, Jeremy Meyer from AMSOIL. Puts it on the top, and you could just tell how excited he is. Look at that smile on his face. He takes that victory wreath. He is on Crandon dirt where he proves that he is the best.
Just won the AMSOIL Cup. It's an incredible feeling. You just step out of that truck and they're on top of the truck, and I can see my friends and family and all my fans just going wild. As you walk up, they have their slabs that you follow, and all my friends, family, everybody just makes it that much more special. You finally get up to the stage and the crowd is just so emotional and you get the chills. I think if the AMSOIL Cup was somewhere else other than Crandon, it wouldn't feel the same. And to have it in front of all these people, 50,000 people just cheering you on, and that's what I do it for.
A celebration. Let's first start. You're keeping that cup right here in Crandon.
When you bring this trophy back, you don't just win it for yourself or, just even your family or your crew. It's for the whole community. To say that it's still here at home, it is really cool.
Thank you for coming, guys. Glad you had some fun. Thank you, guys. Thank you. There you go. There you go, Jack. You're welcome.
We'll take this home, and it hasn't even really sunk in yet. We're going to celebrate with friends tonight and family and have a good time. So it was definitely a nail biter the whole way, and it worked well for us. So.
Walk us through it from green flag to checkered.
I knew the truck had the potential to get the whole shot, and we pulled it off, and it was just runaway and high time. And we just put it to the floor and tried getting as big as gap as we could and keep on them. And my spotters kept telling me the distance on each other's. I just kept pushing it. It's just a different feeling than if someone else is going to go and win it. When we win it, it's huge.
No. I helped them do that. You know that. Attaboy.
Well, that was an absolutely epic race. And as the Kincaids continue to celebrate, we at TORC have some celebrating to do as it's the end of our season. Wanted to say thank you so much for sticking with us all year long, and from everybody at TORC, we appreciate you. I'm Kate Osborne. I'll see you next year.